Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. For those of you who are new here, my name is Amber. Today we're talking about our May wrap-up and June TBR. For May, I did not have like a specific set TBR. It was kind of just like a couple random books that I was hoping to get to, but it wasn't like set in stone. And I don't remember all of them, but a couple of them were When the Moon Hatched, Funny Story by Emily Henry. What else did I have? One of them was by Olivia Atwater. I can picture the cover. I can't think of the name, but it's the one that I got that I said was kind of like Bridgerton with magic. Half a Soul. I think I might have said Heartless by Elsie Silver. I don't remember if I did, but if that's the case, then Funny Story and Heartless were the only two that I actually got to. I did have a slow reading month. I only read 4 books this month. Yeah, it just wasn't it. So, without further ado, let's just get into the books. This is in the order that I read them. And so starting off with the month, I read Funny Story by Emily Henry. This was released at the end of April. This was a 5-star read for me. I absolutely loved this book. This is only my second Emily Henry book. They've both been 5 stars so far. I need to get to the rest of them. The next one that I want to read is Happy Place. I already have that downloaded onto my Kindle. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but I want to really bad. And then after that, I'm going to go into Book Lovers. I don't know if I'll ever end up reading People We Meet on Vacation. I might. I've never heard bad things about it, but it's always at the bottom of everybody's list that they make about Emily Henry books. So, I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll get to it, but it's not something that I see myself reading in the immediate future unless somebody convinces me otherwise. But yeah, 5 stars for this. I absolutely loved this book. I've already debated on doing a reread. It's honestly tied with Beach Read for me. I don't know which one I would pick. I kind of want to do a reread of both after I read Happy Place so that I can fairly rank them. But anyway, this one, you're following Daphne, who is engaged to Peter. They move to Michigan, which is his hometown, and he decides to tell her the night that he gets back from his bachelor party that he's calling off the wedding because he realized that he's in love with his childhood best friend, Petra. And Petra is dating Miles. This all ties together because Daphne has her dream job here of being a children's librarian, but it doesn't pay the bills, so she needs a roommate. In steps Miles. She decides to throw it out there and asks him if they want to be roommates. So now we have Daphne and Miles living together while both of their exes are off dating. They kind of like keep to themselves for the most part until one night they both get drunk and decide that they're going to form a friendship and kind of go off and do all these cool things for the summer, take pictures, and if those pictures end up being a little bit misleading, then who's to blame them, you know? But I thought that this was so fun. At first, when I started reading this, I really wasn't sure about Miles. Like, the way that he's described with, like, the scruffy beard, the Crocs, I was not sure about that at all. I didn't think that I was really going to like this, but I was going to give it a shot anyway, and I'm glad that I did because I ended up loving Miles. Super funny, super caring. I loved his character. Daphne, not my favorite female main character. I definitely think Miles kind of is what held this book together, but he was questionable at the beginning. There is a part in here where, like, I really didn't think he was going to be redeemed, but I was proven wrong. And I love this book, and I cannot recommend this enough. If you have not picked this up yet, do it. Then the next book that I read was The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I'm gonna go with Poston. Same author as The Dead Romantics. I have not personally read that, but I've heard kind of mixed things about this, but about that one, not this, that one. This one I've heard nothing but good reviews on, and I completely agree. I gave this 4.5 stars, absolutely loved it. This one, you're following Clementine, and again, I don't know how to say the main male character's name, so I'm gonna put it here. I'm not even gonna attempt it. She ends up moving into her late aunt's apartment in New York, which she has gone there all throughout growing up, and her aunt always said that this place was magical, that it's kind of like a pinch in time here, and she never really understood what she meant until one day she wakes up and there is a strange but handsome man in her kitchen, and she freaks out and then realizes that he's actually 7 years in the past. So yeah, I don't really want to give too much away on this, but I loved both their characters. I loved their banter. It was amazing. The writing in here with like the descriptors, it wasn't overwhelming, but it was described so well that it really made you feel like you were there. Definitely sucked me into this book. I could not put this down. Loved it. 4.5 stars. If you watched this reading vlog, you know that I was very confused during this, and I think it was just me overthinking it and just not really, I don't know. There was nothing confusing about it. And again, I haven't stopped thinking about this book since I read it, so honestly, I'm going to keep it at a 4.5, but just know that I'm teetering towards a 5, and that may change. Because I genuinely have not stopped thinking about this book since I read it. And I'm so glad that I picked this up. It was kind of just like a random, I didn't really know what I wanted to read and I was on vacation. And I saw this in Target and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I'm really glad that I did. Next one was Kingdom of the Feared by Carrie Maniscalco. This is the last book in the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy. And originally I gave this 4 stars, but I just don't really know if it is a 4-star. I think I'm going to drop it to like a 3.5, and it's not that the book was bad, it's just I personally wasn't really invested in this series as much as I thought I was going to be. This is a YA fantasy, but like the further you get in the books, it kind of steers away from YA, in my own opinion. Like, I feel like I would have classified this one as adult. There's like spicy scenes in this, but none of them are like super over the top. But they're enough to where I personally really wouldn't classify them as YA. I think I'm going to drop this to a 3.5 though, and it's really just like, I feel like this book was just a little bit longer than it needed to be. A lot of things kind of got dragged out where I don't think that they necessarily should have been. I liked Wrath as a character, and I really enjoyed Amelia's character development, because in the first book, like I've said before, I just really didn't care for her. But in the first one, you're following Amelia while she tries to figure out who killed her twin sister, Victoria. They're witches. And she ends up making like a deal with one of the princes of hell to help figure out who killed her sister. And I don't know. The plot seemed like it had a really good chance at being great. But in the first book, I just didn't really care for Amelia all that much. And I felt like there was just a lot of unnecessary additives in there that just really didn't make sense on why they were even in there. And I feel like they didn't really have a significant play in the main plot. It just kind of felt like a bunch of side stories got randomly brought up that really never fully got resolved. Maybe it's setting up for like side stories. I know that there's Fallen Throne of the Fallen, something along those lines. Those words are mixed in there somewhere. I'm just too lazy to look up what it's actually called, but that's like a spin-off series for the Princes of Hell, and I have heard really good things on those ones, where this series is kind of mixed. So Throne of the Fallen, I think it's called. I do have plans to pick that up eventually, just not anytime soon, because it really took a lot in me to even read this, and maybe that's why it's only getting a 3.5, because I just really wasn't fully in the mood to read this, but I just wanted to get some of the series that I'm in the middle of out of the way. I don't know. I'm rambling. I don't want to say anything about that one, like with the synopsis, because I don't want to give it away. So you get like the brief synopsis from the first one. Anyway. The last one that I read was Heartless by Elsie Silver. This is a Kindle Unlimited book. This is the second book in the Chestnut Spring series, which they're all cowboy romances, and it's like an intertwined series where you can read each individual one, but they each focus on a different like sibling / friend. So this one, in the first one, you're following Rhett and Summer. This one, you're following Cade, who is Rhett's older brother, and Willa, who is Summer's best friend. And Cade is like I think in here he's 38 and Willa is 25, I want to say. So you have like a 13-year age gap. He is a single dad, grumpy. Willa's the sunshine. She ends up being the nanny to Cade's son for the summer, and so she moves in with them. This ended up getting 4 stars. It was almost a 5-star. And most of it is like 5-star feels for me, but there was just one thing that happened in this book that I'm not a huge fan of. So for that, it got knocked down because for me it did kind of take away from it. But overall, this may even get like a 4.25 because I think Flawless, yeah, I think I gave Flawless 4 stars because I liked it but I didn't love it. This one I definitely liked more, so I'll probably give this like a 4.25 stars versus 4, just because this one I did personally like better than that one. Almost fully lived up to the hype that I had convinced myself it was. I want to say that Reckless, don't quote me on this, but I think it's Reckless that I see the most that's like people's favorites in the series. I know that the next one, Powerless, follows Jasper, is like their childhood best friend that they kind of like took into the family, so he's almost like a brother to them. But it's following him and Cade and Rhett's cousin, and I can't remember her name. It starts with an S. Anyway, I'm really interested to see that story because they briefly get mentioned like towards the end of this. 4.25 stars for this one. I definitely want to get to the rest of them, but I think I'm going to take like a short break from that. Now, onwards to June's TBR. We're going to do something different. I was going to just use my TBR jar because I didn't use it last month, but I'm kind of, I want to take a break from the TBR jar, and this month I want to use the Wheel of Color. I want to use the Wheel of Color to pick my TBR. So I'm going to do a screen recording. So we're going to pick 6. Okay, so pink. Purple. Purple again. Okay, red. Blue. I think I forgot to screenshot red. And another red. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this was a little bit harder than I thought it would be because a lot of my covers are very mixed. So, I did the best I could. Some of these are not a majority color. That's fine. So, first color was pink, and I really don't have any pink covers that aren't like just in the middle of a series that I haven't even gotten to that book yet. So, I'm picking Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. It's close enough, okay? I'm going to count this. I'm going to count this as a majority pink. There's other colors on here, but the most covering color is pink. You could debate that with orange, but we're not going to. We're going to call pink, okay? Next one was purple, and I'm going with Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I have had this for a hot minute on my TBR, so I'm going to try to actually read this month. Then it was red, and we're going with For the Throne by Hannah Witten. I am very, very, very excited to get to this one because I really liked For the Wolf. This is the second in the duology. And first daughter is for the throne. The second daughter is for the wolf. The wolf is for the Wilderwood. This is a Red Riding Wolf retelling, and I said this in that reading vlog where I read For the Wolf. It's a very interesting Red Riding Hood retelling. Probably like one of the most unique ones that I've read. So, very excited to get to this one. Then we had another purple, and I could be saying this out of order. I don't know. Again, this one's up for debate. But I really just don't have any other purple ones. Yeah. We're going to call it majority purple, and I'm going to count part of that as the sprayed edges, half purple, and then there's a whole lot of purple intertwined in this. So we're calling this purple, and it is The Red Scholar's Wake by Aliette de Bodard. I'm not going to lie, I don't know anything about this, and I think it's... Yeah, look at that. This is an Illumicrate edition, and it is very pretty. I do really like this edition. It is a sci-fi, and I'm not gonna lie, I've never read a sci-fi. So this is going to be interesting. I don't know how I'm going to like this one, but I'm excited to get to it nonetheless. It looks like, I don't even know how to say that name and I'm not going to attempt it, but it says Bot Maker Data Analysis Mother Scavenger, but those days are over now. Her ship has just been captured by the feared Ricefish, leader of the Red Banner pirate fleet, famous for their double dealing and cruelty. The best she can hope for is to become an indentured servant and work out her days in peace. The worst is to be tortured to death for sport by the pirates who hold her life in their hands. Then this is like the POV of Ricefish. Sentient ship, leader of the infamous Red Banner pirate fleet, wife of the Red Scholar, or at least she was until her wife died under suspicious circumstances. Now isolated, alone, and unloved, Ricefish wants to find out who struck against them and why, and whether she and her people are still in danger. Set against a backdrop of an interstellar war against piracy and the Five Fleet's brutal fight to survive each other and the attackers arrayed against them, this is an exciting space opera and a beautiful romance from an exceptional SF author. I am excited for this one. I do remember reading that now, like that synopsis. I just still haven't gotten to it, and mainly because I'm just scared because I've never read a sci-fi and I really just don't know how I'm gonna like it. Then we have another red one, which is Five Broken Blades by May Corland. This is just the normal edition that you can buy at the stores, and look at those sprayed edges. Hello? And then the end pages. The hardcover? I mean, how is this pretty much the same price as like a normal hardback? This one, the 5 most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective, to kill the god King June. He has it coming under his merciless immortal hand. The nobles flourish while the poor and innocent are imprisoned, ruined, or sold. And now each of the 5 blades will come for him. Each has tasted bitterness, from the hired hitman seeking atonement, a lovely assassin who seeks freedom, or even the prince banished for his cruel crimes. None can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder, they can agree on treachery. But for these 5 killers, each versed in deception, lies, and betrayal, it's not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they'll have to find a way to trust each other. But only one can take the crown. Let the best liar win. Okay, and then the last one was blue. And don't come for me on this one. We're gonna agree to disagree. I'm gonna call this blue because I desperately need it to be blue. If you see green, no you don't. I don't know what it's gonna look like in person. In this picture, we're gonna call it teal, and that can go either way. I'm gonna sway it towards blue because I want it to be blue. But I'm picking Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver for blue because that arrives to me on Tuesday and I have been waiting for this book to come out. So if you are on the side of the argument that that's green, no it's not. For the sake of this video, for the sake of my sanity, it's blue. We have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. We have Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. We have For the Throne by Hannah Witten. The Scholar's Wake by Aliette de Bodard. And 5 Broken Blades by May Corland. And Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver. I am very happy with this. Overall, there's a couple books in here I'm a little nervous about, but overall, I am happy with this stack. I'm hoping to get to most of these. I'm not aware of any new releases besides Leather and Lark that I've had my eye on. There's quite a few that have snuck up on me that I didn't even know were getting released this year, so I mean, that's a possibility. But yeah. That's all I have for you. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you've rated them, or any of the 4 that I read this past month, what you rated those. Also, if you have any other like new releases coming up that I'm not aware of, let me know, because I'm always looking to add things to my TBR, even though I have like 100 books on my TBR that I haven't read. So anyway, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all my future videos, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!